It's my pleasure to come back to round up what we have started some weeks ago about the cleaning of our foundation from addition and subtraction of numbers, multiplication and division of numbers, addition and subtraction of alphanumeric. This is the last part of the foundation cleaning that we started a few weeks ago. I'm sorry that there is a gap between the third and this. Now, multiplication and division of alphanumeric. We're going to have about three things now to deal with: the sign, the number, and the letter, which we call variable in algebra. So, when you want to multiply and divide alphanumeric, three things will be involved. Let's have negative 2g multiplied by 4g. Negative 2g multiplied by 4g as an example to start with. Now here we have three things. We have three things multiply. One, we have times. Two, we have number. And three, we have letter. These are the three things we want to multiply. So we're going to take them one after the other. So before we start, the first term has negative. So first term, for term, we have negative multiplied by positive. 2g carries negative and 4g carry positive. So negative multiplied by positive is negative. We have added that one down. The second step is to multiply the numbers. We have 2 and we have 4. That becomes 8. Likewise, the third one, we have what I call the letter, which is called the variable. We have the letter, which is called the variable. So it's going to be the third step. Third step. So what the variable, which is g, multiplied by g. When you have g multiplied by g, it's going to be g raised to power 2. This is where some students have problem. So I need to have some seconds here to explain that. G multiplied by g, it is the power you are going to add together. G here as g raised to power 1 multiplied by g raised to power 1. So you add them together, it becomes g raised to power 2. If the power is 2, is 3, you add them together. G raised to the power of 1. Though we don't have the 1 at the top, but we must know when a letter is written, it's written to the power of 1, which is invisible. Just like when you say a plus a, we all know that is 1a plus 1a. Likewise, this is g raised to the power of 1 multiplied by g raised to the power of 1, which would be g raised to power 2. So in overall, now, if we are to sum these three together, we know that x become negative 8g raised to power 2. We're going to have another example to make it easier for us. Factor 2g raised to power 2 multiplied by negative 4g. So like I did, so I won't write the stuff anymore, or I can still write it to make it easier for anybody. So our first step here, when you are used to it, you don't need this first step anymore. And I know there are some people that will come here and they already have the understanding. The sign of the first one is positive. I told us to sign with a sign. And the second one is negative. And based on our teaching, previous teaching, positive multiplied by negative becomes a negative sign. And the second step is to multiply the number. And the number here is 2 multiplied by 4, which is equal to 8. And the third one is the letter. We have g raised to power 2 multiplied by g. Like I told us, that g is raised to power 1. So here now, we know our answer because this is g raised to power 3. So our answer becomes negative 8g raised to power 3. Negative 8g raised to the power of 3. I will do the third one. Then I will not be using first step. We just go directly into a calculation instead of using that. So let's see another example now. This time around, let's use y. So negative 3y raised to power 3 multiplied by negative 2y raised to power 2. Like I said, will be the first step here. First step will be the sign. First step will be the sign. And our sign here is negative, multiplied by negative, which is equal to positive. And our number for the second step, our number is going to be 3 multiplied by 2, which is equal to 6. And the third one is the variable, which I first never. The variable here is y raised to power 3 multiplied by y raised to power 2. Like I told us, you only had the powers together. The 2 and the 3, they are power. What you just need to do is to add them. Add this power with this power. So it becomes y raised to power 3 plus 2 is equal to y raised to power 5. So this becomes y raised to power 5. That by implication, the multiplication of the two becomes becomes 6 positive 6 y raised to power 5. It's going to be positive. But the case people may get confused and put positive in it. So let's have 2 other examples. So it's no more than that. So anytime you have to multiply, so let's have like question 4 right now. So I will do like 5 examples. So if you are given negative 10 y raised to power 3, even negative 3 this time around. Negative 3 multiplied by negative 2 y raised to power 6. So we must know now, without doing that, like negative multiplied by negative, positive, 10 multiplied by 2, 20. That's what we're going to have. Now also to have the power. The power we have here this time around now is negative 3. So you still apply the same thing you do. The power here is negative 3. So it's going to be y raised to power negative 3 plus 6. The power here is 6. So which is equal to y raised to power 3. So negative is applicable anyway. So this one becomes y raised to power 3. So that use it. Let's go to the last example on multiplication. Multiplication, this will be like 15 y raised to power negative 3 multiplied by 3y raised to power negative 2. So what do? Like I told us, what is 15? The numbers first. What is 15 times 3? That is 45. Or the sign first. What is the sign here? Positive? What is the sign here? Positive. That's 45. So 15 times 3, 45. Now what is y raised to power this? That's going to be y raised to power 3 plus negative 2. When you add the two negative together, it becomes y raised. So that shows this becomes 45 raised to power negative 5. I think with the examples we've had in here, we should be able to answer any question. So let me give you your exit ticket on this, or trial. Call it exit ticket. Exit ticket. And that to exit that topic. So if I ask you to simplify this, simplify 1 negative 2 y raised to power 3 multiplied by 4 y is equal to negative 6. All you do, let me just give you a minute to do it. Will be your answer. Negative 2y raised to power 3 multiplied by 4y raised to power negative 6. So if you multiply, so by now I believe you ought to have come out with your answer. Then it's wait for 30 seconds and see what you get. Okay, by now we should know that the answer is negative sign here, positive sign here. So that becomes negative. And 2 and 4 becomes 8. Where you have y raised to power 3 and y raised to power negative 6 becomes y raised to power negative 10. Let's give a second question. And that's makes us to exit that we have 3a raised to power 2 multiplied by negative 4a raised to power 6. What will it be? 3a squared multiplied by negative 4a raised to the power of 6. What will be our answer? What will be our answer to the question? What will be our answer? So, I know you are working on it. So I'm giving some seconds to see. Okay, I also believe you have gotten your answer. Let's see. The sign here is positive and there is negative. And I've said it. Wherever your signs are different, when you are multiplying or dividing, it's going to be negative. But when they are the same, it's going to be positive. That is only when you are multiplying or dividing. So this is positive, this is negative. That becomes negative. And this is your 3, and this is your 4. That becomes 12. And a raised to power 2, a raised to power 6. The two of them are positive powers. Don't forget this is your power for the last time. Don't forget this is power. This is power. So you add them together. So when you add the two powers together, what do you have? This has become a raised to power 8. That is about addition and subtraction. So that's going to give us a kind of a raised to power 6. So we'll go to the division. Likewise, what we have done, the division aspect. So we'll go to division now. Division. We're going to use the same process for the division. If you have negative 4y raised to power 4 divided by 2y raised to power 2, the same process. The first step you're going to have is the first step is to take the signs, will be the first step, the sign. First step, I will do that for this first step, is the sign. The sign. The first step is the sign. And what is our sign here? Our sign here is negative divided. Because see, the sign, you can see the sign that's negative divided by negative. We can see the sign here is negative. And the sign here is positive. So that's going to be negative divided by positive. Like I told us all the time that if you are multiplying and your answer, if you are multiplying signs that are the same or dividing signs that are the same, the answer will be positive. But when you are dividing also, if the signs are the same, it's going to be positive. If they are not the same, it's going to be negative. Take note of that. So this negative here, this is positive here, they are not the same. So you are dividing, it's going to be negative. So let's go to the other one, the second step. The second step will be the number. The number. The number will be the second one. What's the number here? 4 divided by 2. What do you have? The 4 divided by 2. You have it to be 2. And the third step would be the letter, which I call variable. Unlike the other one, when you have multiplication, you had, and when you have division, you subtract the power. So you are having y raised to power 4 divided by y raised to power 2. Like I usually tell students, the signs are so easy. When it is multiplication, you have the powers. When it is division, you subtract the powers. That shows now we'll be having y raised to power 4 minus 2. You subtract the power. Since the bases are the same, I don't want to come up with the law of indices now. I want us to understand it with the simplicity. Y raised to power 4 negative 2. So this becomes y raised to power 2. So when we get to indices, we'll talk about that. So it becomes y. So now I won't use steps. We have had enough of using steps. So let's go back to example now. Another example now, if I said negative 15 a raised to power negative 4 divided by negative 5a raised to power 2. What will it be? So here, negative divided by negative, what will it be? That is positive. So like I said, so let's make use of the step I've written above. First step is sign. The sign is negative. The sign is negative, and we're dividing them. That becomes positive. And this is 15. And this is 5. What is 15 divided by 5? That becomes 3. Now, the power of a here, I want to do that as a corollary to it, like addition, so that people will understand this is a raised to power negative 4. The basis here and this, they are the same. So you take one, you subtract, like I told you, from the power. The division here is negative, and the power here is 2. The power of a in the first instance is your negative 4. Division here changes to negative or minus, whichever way you call it. In America, they use negative and minus separately. They believe minus is the sign between two numbers and negative is the number that belongs to the sign. But in other parts of the world, negative is negative. So, however, what is so important is for you that division will change to negative or minus. And the power of 2, a here is 2. It's going to come in. So, therefore, we are having a raised to power. Can you see the algebraic lesson we had? Negative 4, negative 2. Here you are not multiplying, you are not dividing, so it's going to be negative 6. So the answer here is a raised to power negative 6. So that makes it different. We're going to have another example. From there, we're going to have another example. Let's see that where the powers will be negative, negative. For instance, if I have 6y raised to power negative 5 divided by 3y raised to power negative 3. So, what will be the answer to the question? So, the same way, the first thing is the sign. The sign here is positive. The sign is positive, so it's very easy. So, that's 6 divided by 3. That's the first thing. So, the first thing you do is to deal with this and deal with this. I said 6 divided by 3 is 2. Having known that the sign is positive, positive, so you don't have nothing to fear about. Now, concerning the y, I'm going to do a corollary like having y raised to power negative 5 divided by y raised to power negative 3. You must know this is the same thing as taking the base, like I've said, they are the same. Y and the power here is very important for you to know. The power here is negative 5, so you write it. The power here is negative 3. But before then, what is the division? I told you subtract. So the division here, you subtract. And the power is negative 3. So you write it as negative 3. So here, you'll be having y negative 5. When you have these two sides, it becomes positive 3. And this becomes, what is negative 5, positive 3? We've learned about that. That is negative 2. I hold somebody 5, I have 3. I'm trying to bring that back. So that shows the answer here is 2 raised to negative 2. So I call this corollary so that you understand the way it is done. So you know that the way this is done. That is about the division. It's your turn now. With the two model examples, it is your turn to answer the two questions I will give to you. I call it essay ticket. So essay ticket on the division. So I'll give you two questions. So I want you to do this. If I give you negative 20, negative 20x is over negative 4 divided by negative 5 raised to power negative 5s raised to power negative 2 will be your answer. Let me give you yours about 30 seconds to do that, or 1 minute. Negative 20. Negative 20. Negative 20. X raised to power negative 4 divided by negative 5x raised to power negative 2 will be the answer. I want to believe you already have your answer. So let's see the solution together to know where you are right or wrong. The first thing is the sign. What is the sign here? Negative. What is the sign here? Negative. What is negative divided by negative? That becomes positive. The next thing is 20, which is the number, and 5. What is 20 divided by 5? 4. The next thing is your x. Let's say you take one base, that's x, and that becomes negative 4. Division will change to minus, and minus plus multiply this becomes, okay, somebody may say, I don't know how you get that. Division will change to the minus, and therefore you have this to be negative 2. So we have 4x raised to power negative 4 plus 2. Because negative and negative is a form of multiplication, you can put it like this. Become positive so that you understand it. So it becomes positive. So, and this becomes 4x. Negative 4 plus 2 becomes negative 2. You know that I hold 4, I have 2. That's addition. Addition and subtraction is different from the other one. Let me give you a second exit ticket for today. If I say 25, A raised to power 10 divided by 5A raised to power negative 2 will be the answer. I want you to have the answer written for me. What will be the answer for this one? What will be the answer to this question? Going by the method we're using, the sign here is positive and the sign here is positive. So we have nothing to fear. So that's positive or positive will be positive. They are the same. And I want to restate it or reiterate it that whenever your signs are the same, division and multiplication is going to be positive. If they are different, it's going to be negative. And you must not forget, this is not the same thing as addition and subtraction. Some students make that mistake. When you are subtracting, it's different from one you are dividing or multiplying. So take note of that sign. When you are subtracting or adding, that is where you use the word I hold or I have. So here now becomes 25 divided by 5, which is equal to 5. And this one becomes a raised to power 10 negative 2, which becomes 5. A raised to power 10 plus 2, which is 5, which equals to 5 a raised to power 12. Why? Because the division here is the negative at the middle here, and the negative 2 here is the one here, making 5 a raised to power 12. I want to believe all the 4 topics I called foundation cleaning will have done the best for us as we go through them. If this is your first time of joining us on this YouTube channel, I want you to go through the first, the second, third, and fourth. And I still implore you to join our YouTube channel. Thank you.